You can just feel the anxiety creeping in. You feel sweat, change. Oh my gosh, change. And it's really a lot of fear. So let's think about something that when we look now, this really improved my life, but in the beginning, I didn't want to make that change. I was very resistant. So what would be some examples of things that we resisted, but now we're glad about? Can you think of anything?
For us, we had a major change in our upper management. And they came in and had us change to where we no longer had an office anymore.
Okay.
We're now working out of our branches and certain days at home. So it was scary at first because of not having that office, that secure space, and
Okay.
kind of traveling with everything.
Right. So now how do you feel about that?
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is it that you love about it?
Being out, we had to be out in the branches now. So
Okay.
the relationships we built, and they no longer see us as, oh, HR's here, what did we do? So now they see us coming in and they know they expect it.
Right. Right. Okay. So it's not so you're part of the team. They recognize you, and not like, oh no, because sometimes we show up. HR's here. Who's getting fired? And so changing just that whole perspective about HR. That's great. Great. What else?
For us, or for me, moving into a new region.
Okay.
So we were, just in Peoria, Juniata counties. We just opened a branch yesterday. In Lemoyne, so that was a big change for us, moving into a new market. The fear was that we're not the community bank anymore. Now we're a big bank, and we're trying to keep it a community-based bank, even though we have to grow if we want to survive.
Right. So the brand identity and making sure that we keep our core values, and great. Somebody else. It doesn't necessarily have to be work. It could be personal. Something in your life that changed personally?
I remember when I changed jobs to come to Dahlwood.
Okay.
I've been at Dahlwood, I'm working on 14 years, but I was someplace for 14 and a half years. And they always say it's a good decision for women to feel empowered to make a change. But I remember struggling, talking to my husband, should I do this? What is this?
Right.
And the process of coming to the new place, you work somewhere for so long, and you just had your responsibility, and you knew what to do, you knew who to go to, and now you're coming someplace totally different. You don't know anybody, and they're not always sure. Like when you're trying to change things, why do you have to change? So that was a big decision for me to change, make a change.
Yeah. I love to talk about just how we've changed in HR the way that we do things. So having a 30-year career in HR, we didn't have email when I first started in HR. We didn't have the internet. We couldn't Google and look things up. And it's just very different how we operate now. The way that we communicate is very different. Being resistant when the computers came in, or even our smartphones. I mean, think about our smartphones, and sometimes I don't want all that technology, but it's really great. So we talked about technology, job change, process improvement. I know that we have different stages in life here, but I know empty nest can be really difficult. And it's always fun like right now, I know there's a lot of parents that are going through that because it's time to go back to college, and they're like empty nest. But then when their kids come home over Thanksgiving, they're going to be like, are you going back to school yet? Because we adjust. And so I can remember that with my kids when they were going off to school. In the beginning, it was very sad, but then you get used to them being away, and then when they come home, it changes how things are going. So we tend to resist in the beginning, and I think there's a common theme about what you talked about. Why were you resistant in the beginning?
It's different.
Scary. Yeah, scary, the unknown, you have the fear. That's exactly right. So in organizations, we have changes that affect us. I mean, even if you've been in your organization for only 5 years, you can see a lot of changes in your organization. Even the last year, all of you said that you've had some type of change that has gone on in your organization. So we're facing different changes in our organization. There are things that are outside of our organization that actually force us to have to change. So our competition. Think about who your competition is and what they're doing, and you have to keep up with, being one step ahead. We don't want to just equal our competition. We want to do something better than our competition. The government, they're constantly changing things. I mean, some of you are in industries that are extremely heavily regulated by the government. So you're constantly have to keeping up with that. But we all have the government regulations that come down, the employment laws. The economy affects all of us. When the economy is good, it can be good. Interest rates, for some organizations, it's really great when they're high. Other organizations, it's not so good. So there's a lot of different things that are going on in the economy. Right now, one of the things that we're all facing that's an outside force is finding employees. Anybody fully staffed? No. It's the workforce right now. We're all looking for employees. We're all looking for that right talent. And so we're thinking about how we have to make changes in our organization. How does the work get done? When you have a list of job openings, you have these positions open, how do we get the work done? And so we have to look at different things in our organization. And then inside organization. So change in ownership or change in leadership, that affects an organization. Investment in technology, putting new technology in, new equipment, those types of things that people have to get used to. Is there anything else up there that maybe affects your organization that I didn't talk about from either outside or inside? Another thing that might be true is just customer expectations.
2 days delivery.
Pardon me?
2 days delivery.
Or if you're Amazon the next day, right? Oh, we'll get this tomorrow, and we expect it tomorrow, right? So we want everything fast. It's interesting to look at the retail industry. Now, all of the, a lot of these places, you can just pull up and they'll bring everything out to your car. And so one did it, then you saw another retailer do it, and so there's a lot of things. So the consumer drives a lot of things that we have to change in our business models. Okay, so there's a lot of things that affect us, and we have to be aware.